Welcome back to Tarot and Beyond. Today we're doing What is your cat wanting to tell you today? So this is a reading about messages from your cat or your pet. If you don't have a cat, it could be a dog, a fish, a bird, or a bunny, or really anything. And we're going to be looking at channeled messages from your cat or your pet to see what they have to say to you. So we have 3 options to choose from today. We have group number 1, group number 2, and group number 3. You can select one or as many cards as you feel drawn to and use the timestamps linked in the description box below or pinned in the comments section to jump ahead to your chosen reading or readings. And we'll see you there. All right, hi group number 1, welcome to your messages from your cat reading. So let's take a look at your card. You chose the 9 of Cups. Beautiful. So I'm seeing that your cat is very content. They want you to know that they enjoy their life is what I just heard. So they're very happy. They like all of the things that you give them. This could be food. I'm seeing toys. If you give them toys, they love that. They love their food. They want more of it, but that's just pretty standard. I can see that they're very happy when they cuddle you. I can feel like purring and like the vibration of purring. So your cat wants you to know that they're very, very content and they have a deep sense of fulfillment and happiness with their life. So now we're going to get a few more cards from the Cat Tarot. Oh wow, the Empress. Your cat or your pet really feels like an empress or an emperor if they're a male, but I just see them very, very content and luxurious. They just feel pampered is the feeling that they're giving me. Like, I live a good life is what I just heard. I live a good life and I am happy. Oh, that's so sweet. That is so sweet. They're very happy with their life. They've got the 4 of Pentacles here. Look at those treats. Yeah, so they're very happy with the food that you give them, the treats, the toys, the love, the affection, the time. They want like, and they love good blankets to knead on is what I'm seeing, or to cuddle up on. Like, it just feels very cozy, the energy they're giving me. I feel this one and this one as well. So you have the 2 of Swords and the 7 of Pentacles reversed. Yeah, so I feel like they don't have to really wait much for what they want. I feel like you give it to them pretty quickly and they actually really enjoy that. It's like if they just meow or bark or let you know in some way that they want something, you respond pretty quickly and they are happy about that. They're saying thank you. Yeah, they keep giving me the energy of gratitude. So they're like, thank you for meeting my needs. Thank you for going above and beyond meeting my needs, actually, is what I just heard. So yeah, you don't just meet their needs, you like exceed their needs is what they're saying here. And you have the 6 of Pentacles. Yeah, they feel like they have more than enough. And they're so grateful for that. I get this feeling of deep, deep fulfillment from your cat or your pet. They're so happy and thankful that you are their owner. Or I don't even like the word owner because we don't really own pets. We are responsible for them, but they're more like family members. And yeah, your pet here is just, or your furry friend, your furry family member is just very happy. I feel a sense of triumph from the Strength card here. They feel very strong. Their shiny fur is what I'm seeing. So they may have very healthy fur. You feed them well. I see them being very relaxed. Like these 2 cats here in the cards look like they're yawning. And this is a sign of like contentment and relaxation, being at ease. They just feel very, yeah, happy, content, relaxed, healthy, strong. And I'm also getting a message that if this is a pet that you had in the past that has crossed over to the other side, meaning they've passed on, they want you to know that they really enjoyed their life, that they felt very, they used the word spoiled, but I wouldn't use that word, but they felt very spoiled, very taken care of, very loved, very fulfilled, and they just want to say thank you for that. They keep giving me the energy of gratitude, like thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you've given me, all that you provided, and the life that we had together. I was going to say that you gave to me, but no, it was like that we had together. And if this is a pet that you currently have, same message. It's current, it's present. Okay, let's find out more information here. Ooh, the High Priestess. I want to put this right here. I feel like your cat is very wise. All cats are very wise, I think. I mean, cats themselves are a very high vibrational consciousness. And these feline souls hail from other galaxies, like the feline race hails from other galaxies, or not other galaxies, I should say, other star systems. And the High Priestess here gives me an indication that your cat or your pet is very intuitive, very spiritually aware, and psychically attuned is the phrase that they just gave me, psychically attuned. So your cat is extremely aware of your psychic energy and they're attuned to that. So when you're happy, they feel happy. When you are sad, they can feel that. They pick up on that. They're very intuitive and connected to you emotionally is what they're showing me. And they're saying thank you for taking care of yourself as well. So not just taking care of them, but also taking care of yourself, because that's also a way that you take care of them. Since they are so psychically connected to you and emotionally connected to you, it definitely helps them to be able to feel safe and secure when you feel safe and secure. Yeah, when you feel abundant, they feel abundant. I can see that they're very restful too, like your pet loves to sleep. Obviously, cats sleep way more per day than humans do. And they're connecting to the psychic realms and rejuvenating their psychic energy when they're doing that. That's why cats do that so often. And it's similar to children. That's why children need to sleep so much more, is because they're connected to the psychic realm and they operate at a different frequency bandwidth of thought. So they do need more sleep to be able to rejuvenate and replenish their bodies. It's the same thing with cats. And what they're showing me is that this is kind of like a healing that they're doing during the daytime or during night when they sleep. They are healing themselves and they're also helping to heal you. So they kind of transfer that energy, some of it to you as well, because you sleep, you may even sleep close to each other, or they just want to be in the same room with you when you're sleeping. But yeah, I'm seeing that you two are really connected. They're showing me the two flames here, the two candles, and it's giving me like, twin flame energy. I don't know if you can be twin flames with a cat or with an animal, but I don't see why you couldn't. And yeah, it's giving me like, if not that context, it's just like two souls that are very connected and are very aligned and resonant. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here. And that's why I think this being or this soul has chosen you and incarnated with you, because there is this deep bond. That's really kind of the message there, irrelevant of how we classify it. It's like, it's a deep bond for sure. And at soul level, psychically, you are connected, energetically, you're connected, emotionally, you're connected. So there's a lot of transference is what I'm seeing between you. And I think that your cat or your pet here really helps you to, I keep seeing a lizard. So if one of you has clicked on this reading and you have a lizard, this is a message for you as well. They're showing me like a little, what are those ones called? Bearded dragon, kind of looks like that, or like a little smaller one. I don't know what they're called. But yeah, so this animal, these souls really, because that's what they are. They're souls in other forms. And the purpose of your connection is really to create more of an experience of abundance for you both. So you provide for them and then they provide for you. So it's this beautiful sort of symbiotic relationship where there's mutual exchange of love and contentment and peace and happiness. And it's like you build each other up and love each other unconditionally. It's really beautiful. Okay, now we're going to go in with the clarifying deck. This is another cat tarot deck. How do you feel this one? Oh, you have the Magician. Yeah, so very, very much about magic. That's kind of what I was getting there from the High Priestess. It's like this magic between you, and your cat feels very powerful, like they're very strong, very regal. This animal is just so, I want to say enlightened or aware. And look at that. We just pulled this card and I was just talking about a lizard. There's a little lizard in the card. So there we have confirmation that if you clicked on this reading and you have a lizard, you're in the right place. There's a fish in this card. There's a little mouse. There's a bird. So there's many other as well, but the message for the lizard is wanting to be known very clearly. There's an energy of magic about that lizard. And lizards represent transformation, regeneration, healing as well, and they can also be connected to the element of fire, interestingly enough. And so there can be a lot of sort of transmutation as part of that, and that's kind of what I was picking up on with the High Priestess. It was like this energy of transmutation, or transmitting actually, of energy between the two of you, but also through healing, which is transmuting, changing the energy as it's being transferred to really benefit mutually between you and your animal friend. I want to clarify the Two of Swords here. See if we can get some information. Ooh. The Emperor. That's so cool. We have the Empress and the Emperor in your reading. That is amazing. So yeah, your pet feels very regal, very strong, very in charge, like they rule the household is the energy they're giving me. Even if they, you know, if it's a lizard and they're in like a tank, they feel like they rule over their domain, you know, like they're very sort of not territorial in the negative sense, but just they have a sense of like, this is my zone and I'm very, very content here because I know that I'm sort of the ruler of the roost, if you will. And it's the same thing with a cat. Like, cats are very territorial by nature. And so, you know, it's funny because a cat that looks exactly like the back of these cards actually sort of caused a little bit of a ruckus in my life this morning. There's a neighboring cat called Mookie who comes around in my backyard, and my cat likes to sit at the window. I'll insert a picture here so you guys can see that where she sits. And Mookie came and started beefing with Kitty. Kitty's my cat, and she got really upset, and she actually kind of scratched me a little bit. That's why my hands are a bit kind of beat up. She didn't mean to. It was like misplaced aggression because I kind of snuck up on her and wanted to close the window because I didn't want them to like bust the screen. But yeah, the cats are very territorial, and I feel like your cat is very aware that this is their domain. Like, they feel like the ruler, the empress, the emperor of their empire, and the home is their empire. Or if they're an outdoor animal, then, you know, the backyard or the neighborhood is their empire. And they feel very, yeah, like rulership. They have this energy of rulership, and that needs to be protected. And so some of this open mouth, if it's not yawning, it can be also, you know, showing strength, right? Showing strength that this is my territory. This is my zone. You don't come around here. You know, that's why Kitty and Mookie were really going at each other this morning. And that's actually one of the reasons I wanted to do this reading. I had planned to do it yesterday, but something told me to wait. And it was interesting too, because I woke up this morning and one of the first videos on my feed was by Lexi the Leo, and she was doing a pet reading. And I was like, oh, that's such confirmation, because I had planned to do this one yesterday and now I'm doing it today. So anyway, yeah, I just see like your cat, your animal, your pet just feels very in control and very strong, which I think is such a beautiful thing. I'm feeling this card wanting to come out. We have the Seven of Pentacles again. That's the same one as over here. So let's put it there to balance it out as well. And it feels like it feels like they're very patient because they know that what they need will come to them. So the cat sitting here with the door open kind of reminds me of, you know, for example, Kitty does not like it when doors are closed in the house because it's her empire. And if she can't move throughout the house at will, she gets a little upset. She's come to accept the fact that I close the door in my office or in my filming studio when, you know, I need to do some work, and she, for the most part, will understand and leave me alone when I'm in here. But sometimes she doesn't like it because she does like to sleep on the chair that I film in. That's like one of her sleeping spots. But I feel like if your cat or your pet is like this in some way, they're very patient. And even if sometimes they want something that they don't currently have or that you're not able to provide for them, they know and they trust that it will come. You know, there's this feeling of, if I ask for it, I will get it. So with the example of the closed doors, it's like if there is a door closed in the house, they go and meow at it or go and bark at it or go and sit by it, you'll open it for them. And that is the energy of trust and the bond that this relationship really shows the strength in, because it's like they innately know that they can trust you to meet their needs. It's a very, very healthy relationship is what I'm seeing here. Okay, let's clarify the Four of Pentacles. We have the Ace of Wands. It's cool because I was seeing the Ace of Wands when I was talking about the lizard, because it's related to fire, and the Ace of Wands is the fire element. And we have a snake here as well. And I was clarifying the Four of Pentacles. So I feel like there could be sort of like some inquisitiveness is a little bit of the energy. I'm like curiosity is kind of what I'm getting here. And even though there's curiosity, I also see that with the Four of Pentacles, that your animal really kind of, they like things to stay the way that they are. So it's interesting because it's a little bit of dualistic energy. Like there's one part of them that likes things the way that they like them, and there's another part that wants to sort of inquire about things that are unknown to them. So for example, if you change something around in the house, they might not like that. But if you bring something new in that's never been there before, they're very, you know, curious about what is that? What is that? Let me smell it. Let me touch it. Let me play with it. Like what does this mean? Where did this come from? What does it smell like? So it's very, yeah, it's like they want new things, but they also don't like when things change. So they're like, keep things the same or relatively the same, or tell me when you're going to change them, because that way I'll have an idea. And you have the Three of Cups. Oh, look at this. You may have multiple cats or multiple pets if you clicked on this reading, because look at them all here. And how beautiful is this imagery? She's petting them all. They're just loving up on her. This is the energy that I get from you and your animal friend. It's really like this just deep, deep bond and mutual love. And there's so much appreciation and gratitude and satisfaction and trust and warmth and safety. It's so beautiful. I'm really happy to see this. You guys live a very, very happy life together, or you did at one time if they're not here anymore. And at soul level, they stick around. You know, they don't go anywhere. Our animal friends are still around. My dog Sunny, from when I was a kid, she still shows up from time to time. I've had many animals over the course of my life, and the ones that I really deeply bonded to, they stick around. You know, the more that you love someone or something, I mean, cats are not things, they're ones, they're some ones, but the more that you love anything, the more that it is kind of bonded to you, and that love acts as a bridge. And so even if you've lost this soul, or even if you're afraid to lose them in the future, know that that love bonds you for eternity. You know, it bonds you into infinity, because love is the only true force of nature. And so it acts as a bridge, it acts as a conduit, it acts as like a wormhole that connects you to everything and everyone that you've ever loved, because love is infinite and it connects us all. It's the energy of unity. Okay, let's clarify the Nine of Cups. I do feel this one sticking out. Oh, the Chariot. Wow. So they are very bold, your animal. They like to go after what they want. They're not afraid to ask for what they want. I can see that they're very vocal in their own way, whether it's through body language or whether it's through meows or barks or what is it, whatever it is. It's like they're able to communicate to you really clearly is what I'm getting. And they will go to where they want something. So if there's something that they see that they want, I feel like they jump up onto the counter, or they jump, or they'll go, you know, somewhere, and they'll show you with their body language is what they keep showing me what they need. I feel like they move around a lot, your animal. Like they're kind of always on the go. When they're sleeping, they're sleeping. When they're resting, they're resting. But other than that, I feel like they're very sort of curious about what their surroundings, and they like to explore. They like to kind of look around and see things. I just got that they like to learn too. Like they like mental stimulation because they're so inquisitive. Like they're very curious, very youthful energy. Even if they're an older cat or dog or animal, I feel like they have this youthful vigor within them, like at their spirit level. Their soul is very young and inquisitive. Doesn't mean that it's young in years or in incarnations. I just mean that it's very youthful in the sense that it's always looking to learn something. Okay, let's get just some additional cards here to see any final messages. You have Justice. Wow. Okay. Here we are with another open door, like over here with the Seven of Pentacles. So your animal really likes it when they have access to the entire home, or when things feel fair. So like if you can go through the door, they want to go through the door. If you have the window open, they like to be able to go and explore. Yeah, I feel like they're very explorative. Like they want to explore their territory. They want to be able to just feel free is kind of what the energy I'm getting. They want to feel free. If you have a cat, I feel like this would be an outdoor cat, if possible, right? Like always ensure that your cat is safe. I know that for Kitty, she's not an outdoor cat anymore because she got into some situations that could have threatened her life a couple of times, and I couldn't bear it anymore. So now she's an indoor cat. But yeah, I feel like this cat that you have, or this animal, is very, very freedom oriented, and they can feel very free wherever they are. But they just want to be able to be mentally stimulated. That's part of their freedom. They want to be able to kind of solve problems. So maybe even getting them like one of those puzzle treat balls would be helpful for them, or something that is like new, like bringing in new toys regularly could be helpful for them, because they really like new sort of sensory input. You know what I mean? Like they like to have stimulation of their mind. So like new scratching posts, new climbing things in the house or around, new treats, different tastes, you know, new things that they can sort of play with or puzzle with, stuff like that. I see that your animal is probably pretty friendly too. Like they are open to meeting new people because they're so curious. Yeah, like I'm getting that they're not very skittish, like they're very strong and they feel pretty confident. So I feel like your pet or your animal is one who is more likely to be open to meeting new people. Whereas like for me, Kitty, she's very skittish because she has anxiety and stuff like that. And so she doesn't like when new people come in the house, and it takes her a little while to warm up to people. But I feel like your cat or pet is very outgoing. like if someone else picks them up, they're fine with that. Or if somebody comes in, they're like immediately going and rubbing up against them, that kind of thing. That's the vibe I get from them, because they're so curious and strong and like stable in themselves. It's like they don't feel threatened because they're the ruler of the roost, you know, they're the emperor or empress of the empire. So it's like, if you come in here, you're my subject, you know, pet me, love me, feed me, that kind of thing, you know. Very regal, so cool. I love this energy. So confident, very confident. And you have the Hierophant. Wow. Yeah. Talk about learning. They absolutely love to learn. I'm seeing so much to do with stimulation here, communication, the keys, the laptop, the books in the background, the letters. It's like so much to do with learning, communication, unlocking things, curiosity. The Hierophant is a card of teaching and tradition as well. They're reminding me it's about tradition, because we did have that Four of Pentacles energy there with like keeping things the same, but also adding in stimulation. So it's so funny. They're like, don't change too much, but bring in new things for me. You know, let me play with these new things. Let me explore, let me expand, but don't change things that I like the same. It's so funny. Yeah, they're like kind of like add new things, but don't take away the things that I have that I like, something like that. So funny. I can see that your cat or animal might have a favorite spot on a chair. They're really drawing my attention to this chair. And I already mentioned that Kitty likes to sit in my filming chair. It's like one of her favorite because I put it underneath the table, right? It slides right under the desk and she can hop in from the other side because it's not up against the wall. So it's like undercover and it's guarded from one side, but it's open on the other side. And there she is in the background. I don't know. Can you hear her? Kitty? No, she stopped. She meowed once and then she stopped. She very rarely ever does that. Usually if she meows once, she meows many times. I think she was just acknowledging the fact that, yes, that's my chair, Mom. Now, hurry up and film so I can go back sleeping in it. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Nine of Pentacles. How beautiful is that? And that's so funny because I kept using the term rule the roost and we have a little rooster there. So yeah, your pet, your animal, your cat just feels like this is their territory. They own the town, you know, like this is their empire. They guard everything. They watch over everything. You, the house, you know, the family. They're very strong, stable, protective, curious, inquisitive, intelligent, wise, intuitive, grounded, practical. Yep, Kitty's meowing again. Hi, sweetie. Hi, baby. Maybe I should let her in. No? Oh, look at that. We have strength on the bottom of the deck again, too. So I feel like, yeah, they can like stand up to things that they feel threatened by. They're very strong. They won't back down kind of thing, you know, but they feel very luxurious. They live a really, really blessed life is what I feel, and they just really enjoy, they just really enjoy their life. So Kitty's in the room with me now. I let her in and she's just kind of circling around my feet as I'm sitting in her chair, exploring the office space that she likes to hang out in. And yeah, so that is what I see for you, group number one. Your animal, your pet, your cat is just very, very content, very happy to be where you are. I just get this deep sense of gratitude for all that you've provided for them and for the bond and love and connection that you have together. So they wanted to say thank you. That's why they brought you to this reading, and for you to know that they are very much aware, very much with you, and extremely satisfied with their life. So I hope that this reading resonated and brought you some joy and some comfiness and coziness from your beautiful furry friend. So thank you so much, guys. I love you, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right. Hi, group number two. Welcome to your reading. Let's find out what messages your cat or your pet are wanting to bring through for you today. So you chose, the Ace of Pentacles. So sweet. So your pet is wanting you to know that they enjoy when you offer them things. They feel I'm feeling like a little bit like they're still sort of wary. Like, are you sure I can have that? Are you sure it's okay? I don't know if maybe you adopted this animal is kind of the feeling I'm getting from this card. Like they're not super used to humans giving them good treatment, or I feel like they trust you, but they may still be in the process of learning that they can trust you physically. So yeah, this may be an adopted or rescue animal is kind of what I'm feeling here. But they're very thankful when you give them treats or when you offer them something that they like. It is building that trust is what I'm seeing. Yeah. Okay. Let's get some more messages from the Cat Tarot. So you have, the King of Swords. Wow. So I feel like, look at the two cats here. Not all the cats in this deck look the same. There's a tabby. This is a tabby cat. So I feel like if this is a tabby, that's a very special message for you. But I'm seeing here that this, here we have the Six of Pentacles as well. So I feel like they're very happy when they have either this was in the past, like either you adopted them or you rescued them or you got them from the SPCA or something like that, and they have learned to trust you because maybe they didn't necessarily have the best relationships with humans in the beginning. But I feel like, yeah, they've learned to trust you if that's the case, and they feel very luxurious in the home now, because they finally understood, you know, how you operate or how you function. Yeah, I feel like they learned you. If you hear anything in the background, it's because Kitty's in the room. I felt like it would be inappropriate to lock her out like I normally do because we're doing a cat reading, so she's just kind of wandering around. You have the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, you see what I mean? A lot of these images are of a hand providing a treat. So I feel like your cat, this one is so funny. Look at that. Sweet little Siamese cat, a little bit cross-eyed with his tongue out. So cute. I remember my cousin had a cat, a Siamese cat named Lily, and she had slightly cross-eyed as well, cross-eyed. And yeah, she was such a sweet cat. So I feel like there's something to do with offering treats. They're wanting you to know that they really enjoy that, I think is really kind of the big message here. And you have the Three of Wands too. So yeah, we have another tabby. So a gray tabby or an orange tabby could be significant. I just feel like they're happy that they can play. You have the Four of Wands. So you have two Wands cards. Okay. So I feel like your pet is very energetic. But in the beginning, they may have been a little bit reserved, is what I'm seeing. Because if they didn't fully trust humans, it could have taken them some time to adjust. But then now that they've adjusted, or when they are adjusted, there's a sense of like more playfulness and more energy. They're very sort of energetic. This could be a young cat, or they could just act like they're very young because they have a lot of energy all the time. But they're really emphasizing the hand with the treat. So let me just ask your cat what that means, or what they're trying to say here. Why am I not surprised? They're like, we want more treats. So the animals in this pile, they want you to give them more treats. Like maybe you haven't been lately, or maybe they just want more of them. Because I mean, you know, speaking from experience, my cat Kitty, anytime I go even remotely close to the kitchen, she knows her treats are under the sink, and she'll just stand there and meow at me until she realizes, like, I'm not getting you treats, I'm getting me food. Yeah, so it's just, they want more treats all the time. It's so funny. But I feel like this is because also that's what kind of bonded you with them, I think, a little bit. It's like if they were skittish in the beginning and you gave them treats, that's what really helped you bond. Yeah, you have the Two of Cups. So that's what brought you two together and allowed you to, you know, really have this trusting, harmonious relationship. So it's like they associate treats with love and trust with you. I think that's why. And so if you've been a little distracted, they're like, I want more bonding time. That's what they're saying with the treats. Oh, okay. So it's not even really about the food, although they want that, obviously. But it's like they want the connection. They want the bonding time. They want you to play more with them, is what I'm seeing. Like, get them a string or like some toys that you can interact with, not just like let them play on their own. They actually want to play together because it's bonding time. Yeah. Okay, let's see what else. Yeah, I do feel this one on the bottom. Queen of Swords. You have the King and the Queen of Swords. Wow. So this pet may be a talker. They may be someone who likes to communicate, you know, meowing, barking, singing, chirping, whatever, because I do see birds in this particular card. So you may have a bird. I just heard the word budgie. You may have a budgie. But yeah, there's like this energy of talkativeness, like wanting to communicate. And I see that they do communicate to you. Sometimes it's through the eyes. It's just telepathically. They'll just look at you. Again, we have another tabby here. So they'll just look at you and communicate through the eyes. Like at soul level, they're trying to tell you like, I love you, or I'm hungry, or I trust you, or something like that. There's a lot of communication happening through the eyes. They could be verbally communicating as well, but I'm really seeing it through the eyes. Really cool. Okay, let's do 2 more and then we'll get clarifiers. Okay, so we have, ooh, the Death card. The cat running away from the vacuum. Yeah, I know cats do not like vacuums because they're loud and aggressive. And Kitty, like my cat, she doesn't even like when I sweep. She doesn't like the broom. And I don't know why, because it's not even loud, right? But I think maybe because I did adopt her, so I feel like maybe in her early life, maybe there were brooms that were not used nicely around her. Maybe she was swatted with a broom or something like that. So I'm trying to get her sort of more at ease with the broom. And I think that the Death card here with the vacuum, your cat or your pet is really saying, you know, there are certain things that I don't feel comfortable with. There are certain things that I don't like, but I want you to know that you make me feel safe. And especially when we have that bonding time together, it helps me to feel safe to be able to transition through these different stages of life or these different experiences. It's like they've learned to trust you, and it's through that bond that has really helped them to feel safer. I feel like this type of cat, even though they're talkative, it's probably even like more of that quiet telepathic talking. But I feel like this type of cat, like in group 1, I was picking up this energy of like confidence and strength and like outgoingness, you know, where the type of animal that would just come up and greet anyone. For you, pile 2, I feel like your cat may be a little bit more skittish, or your animal might be a little bit more yeah, just a little bit more anxious. And that's exactly how Kitty is too, because she was adopted. And that's probably because, yeah, it's like if they weren't immediately brought into a very loving home early on in childhood or early on in their life, then they would most likely, yeah, have some of that distrust for humans or for loud noises or for things like that. So I feel like that's something that they're wanting you to know. Oh yeah, and then we have the 3 of Pentacles. They like small spaces because it makes them feel safe. That's pretty standard for cats and for many animals, but I'm really seeing it here in context of the Death card that we just had. So it's like anything that makes them feel afraid, they can go to you because they trust you, or they can go to their safe space. Like they might have a particular little place in the house that they like to run and hide to. I know when I have like people over or something loud is happening, Kitty will automatically run and hide in the closet, and I leave it a crack open for her so she can always get in and out of there, because I know that that's her safe place, and I want her to have a place that she feels safe to go to if there is something like that going on in the house. So yeah, I feel like this pet for you, like they really they're a bit skittish, and they can relax and really feel safe when they're at home with you and things are, you know, sort of steady. But they are showing me that when you're distracted or when you're not around or when there's too much going on, they can get a little overwhelmed, and they need you to kind of bring them that sense of safety and security and through the bonding and time that you have together. So even just like setting aside some bonding time to like pet them or play with them or cuddle with them or talk to them or listen to them, because they're always trying to communicate to you. So just like getting quiet and trying to read their body language, because cats will often communicate through body language. The eyes are very emotive, the tail, head and posture, all of that they do communicate through. And I'm fascinated by that. I have many, over the years, I've read many books on cat communication, nonverbal communication, body language, and things like that. And I loved that show. Oh, who was that guy? He had like a weird name, and he's like the cat whisperer. I'll put it on the screen because I'll find it. But yeah, and I used to watch that show, and it was so fascinating to me that he was really able to speak the language of cats, and I absolutely loved it. And I feel like when you have a bond with any animal or being, you're able to understand each other's communication style. You know, it takes time though to build that up. That's why I think it's taken like some time and some trust and some building of this bond to have it be at a place where you can understand one another. And I think that is where you're getting to, or where you've achieved sort of like you've gotten to. Yeah. Because it's like, yeah, it's not just learning to speak, like sometimes even humans and other humans speak different languages. You know, we all speak English and we're all human. We can very easily misunderstand each other, because if we don't have that real deep sense of knowing and bonding, it's very easy to miscommunicate. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here with your animal or your pet. They really value being understood. That's why they've brought you to this reading, is because they really value being understood. They want to feel as though you hear them and you understand what it is they're trying to communicate and how they're trying to communicate it. And so, yeah, they're saying like, they're both acknowledging thank you for being open and willing to be able to learn to speak my language and to bond and help me to feel safe in this way so I can open up and communicate with you. And two, they're saying, I really would love it if you could do that even more, because that's like their love language, basically. Like, you know how humans have different love languages? Some people it's quality time, sometimes it's communication, sometimes it's acts of service or gifts or physical touch. Well, your pet here, they really value their love language of communication. That is like number one for them, is what I'm seeing. And that communication can come through honoring their bodily needs. Like if they need space, if they've turned their back to you, like in this card, there's the tabby cat that's kind of like, I'm not really interested in playing right now. Like if you read their body language and then you adapt. So if they've kind of turned away, then you give them space. If they walk out of the room, you don't go and pick them up and bring them back in. You know, like it's very much like respect is kind of what I'm feeling here, like respecting them, honoring them, listening to them, not treating them like a pet, treating them like, you know, like family, like a brother or sister. It's very much like this deep bond that I see between you. And they want to acknowledge that. They're like, thank you for respecting me. Thank you for learning my language. Thank you for listening. And maybe sometimes when you're in a rush or you're distracted, reminding yourself to come back to that space of respect for this being that you share your life with, allowing them the space and the understanding. That's really what I see here, is that your pet really just wants to be understood for how it is they think and feel and what they need from moment to moment. And that may change. Sometimes they just want to relax. Sometimes they want treats. Sometimes they want to run around and scratch and play. And sometimes they want to hide because they're afraid. And it's kind of like just honoring and understanding that so that they can feel safe. Okay. Now let's get some clarifiers from the second cat deck that I have. We've got one out so far. We've got 8 of Pentacles. Okay. Yeah, I feel like that your pet or your animal is kind of like this little mouse here, how it's like surrounded by all these cats and it looks very much afraid. So I'm just getting this energy of like skittishness, especially since it knocked into the 3 of Pentacles. So for example, if your animal is exhibiting sort of body language or traits of fear, you'd want to just give them space, let them have a safe space to go to, especially since I mentioned Kitty's like safety closet. That could be something like giving them a place that they can go and hide in that's like small, dark, and confined, because that's what cats love, to feel safe. They want to have kind of like limited points of entry. They want it to feel closed in so that they can feel protected. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here, is that in the beginning of their life, when they were young, they didn't necessarily feel safe. It's like these cats, you know, they might not even want to kill the mouse. They're just kind of curious about it. They kind of seem like the main cat just kind of feels like, ah, whatever, like we're not really interested in eating that mouse. But I feel like they felt very, very afraid. You know, it's kind of like humans all around them and they're not knowing what's happening. And yeah, I'm just getting like this rescue vibe, like they were being rescued, but they didn't understand that. And so they were very afraid. They thought they were going to be eaten. And that's why it's taken them a little while to kind of adjust and understand that, oh, humans are actually kind and they'll feed me and keep me safe and provide for me. And, you know, but that deep sort of wound around fear of things that are bigger than them, that's kind of what they're saying here with the Death card. Okay, let's actually clarify that Death card, because even though that's what I'm getting, I just want to see the Moon. Yeah, it's fear. It's their fear. You see, that's exactly what I was talking about. They're just a bit anxious. They have this wound and it needs to be acknowledged, you know, just like a human who's been through trauma. We don't try and force them to go outside of their comfort zone. We don't mock them or belittle them or disrespect their you know, their needs. We acknowledge, like, okay, yeah, you've been through some stuff and that makes perfect sense that you would be afraid, you know? So what do you need? What do you need? How can I accommodate you? How can I help you to feel safe? Even if that fear is irrational in the sense that the vacuum cleaner is not going to hurt them. They don't know that. And so acknowledging and honoring that fear is going to be really helpful for them. So even just like talk to them about it. What they're showing me is like, communicate to them, because cats are telepathic. So even though they don't understand your words, although some of them they will, right? Cats can understand about, I think, 100 human words or something like that. I'll check Google and correct that if I'm wrong, but they do understand human language in some respects. But what they're showing me here is that if you're going to do something that's loud, or if you're not going to be around, or something like that, basically what they want you to do is just to tell them, like communicate that to them. And so basically, yes, you're saying it out loud verbally with your words. They don't speak English, we know that, but they will see telepathically what you are seeing when you're communicating to them. That's how cats communicate predominantly, and obviously through body language. But they were showing us the eyes here for a reason, and the eyes are the window to the soul. So you can telepathically communicate soul to soul by sharing imagery. And when you say something out loud, you are sharing an image of what you're saying, because like if you're saying something, you're thinking it at the same time, you know? So that's what they're saying here, is like communicate to them. Even if you don't think they understand, they do. On some level, they do. So, you know, you can say to them, hey, I'm going to vacuum now. Just so you know, there's a safe space in the closet you can go to, or there's a safe space under the bed, or there's this little box over here. If you want to go hide in it, you can. I understand it's loud and you don't like it. Like quite literally talk to them like a child. And it might feel silly at first, but it will make a world of difference in the well-being of your animal, because they're just going to feel so much safer that you've communicated and you've accommodated their needs to help them to feel safer. Okay, let's clarify the Three of Pentacles, or sorry, not Three of Pentacles, Three of Wands. Oh, you have the Three of Cups. Group number 1 got this too. Look at how beautiful and affectionate these cats are. Yeah, so I feel like your furry friend, they love you so much and they really enjoy company is what I'm seeing here. Like sometimes they want their space, but other times they enjoy company. And so they might enjoy connecting with other people once they get used to them and warm up to them. Like I know Kitty's really anxious and she doesn't like when she's meeting people for the first time, but then if they come over a fair amount, like she starts to get used to them and she knows their scent, she knows they're safe, and so she'll actually come up and like jump up and run around on the couch when they're sitting there and stuff like that. So, you know, this animal really loves people once they get to know them, right? It's like they love company because they're such a communicator at soul level, but they just need to feel safe with the people that are there. You have the Hierophant as well. Group number 1 had this too. So, and I want to put it over here with the Four of Wands. So I feel like they are very, very wise is the word that's coming through. This pet of yours, very, very wise. And again, I'm getting communicator energy. There's like all of these books and letters and the computer and stuff. Yeah, they are a communicator. That's like their primary energy at soul level. So that's why their primary language of love is communication, and how you can help to support them is through communication, either non-verbally through body language, telepathically through thought, or verbally. Those are the ways that they can really benefit from your relationship and bond with each other. They're also saying, teach me when things are safe, teach me when things are unsafe. So going back to the example of the broom, I think that maybe Kitty didn't feel safe with the broom because somebody swatted her with a broom when she was young. And so she doesn't trust it. But each time that I bring the broom out, I talk to her. I say, hey, the broom's not going to hurt you. I'm in control of the broom and I'm not going to hurt you. You trust me. And I'll even like kind of invite her over to come smell the broom while I'm not using it. I'll just kind of hold it in my hand, invite her over, let her smell it so that she sees that it's not a threat. I let her rub up against it a little bit, you know, and then I start sweeping and she kind of goes away a little bit, but she used to run completely out of the room. And since I've been doing that with her, like kind of helping her to acclimatize to the broom and feel safe with it through my modeling and my communication, I've noticed that she won't run out of the room anymore. She'll stay away from the broom and she'll watch it a little bit like, okay, what's happening here? Am I safe? Okay. But she's not as petrified of it as she used to be. She feels safer with it. She doesn't like it, but she's better now than she was. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here is your cat just needs you to teach them through your modeling, through your communication, and through your patience that that they don't have to feel unsafe around this circumstance or this situation. It's kind of like, but through your understanding, like through your modeling, through your compassion, this is what's going to help them to feel safer. Okay, let's get clarifiers for the central cards here, the Ace of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles. Ooh, the Six of Cups, and it did come out reversed. Okay, so yeah, that's what I was seeing here. The Six of Cups is about childhood and it's reversed. So these are, yeah, that's the message, that when they were young, they had a little bit of a challenge here in trusting people and specifically humans. Yeah, because it's the hand with the treat. So they may have been, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think they were abused or anything like that. I just think that they had a bit of like, yeah, I just see them being like pulled from one place and put into another. So either they were rescued, possibly they were like a stray or something like that. I don't know, but I'm just getting like this childhood sort of wound, this childhood trauma that really, or I don't even know how to say it, like not childhood for cats or dogs, but it's like, yeah, young trauma. And that's why they're like that. And that's okay. Like they're still a beautiful, loving, trusting soul and such a divine communicator. They just have some of that fear because of that. They want to thank you for acknowledging that, or they want you to acknowledge that, depending on where you're at in this relationship. If this is a new relationship, they've brought you to the reading to help you to understand them so that you can bond together and really have this beautiful relationship. And if you've been together for a long time and you've already gotten to this point of having that bond, they want to thank you for the dedication and the respect that you've shown to them and their needs. Yeah, so that is what I see for you, group number 2. I hope that the reading supported you and your relationship with your furry friend. Obviously, I'm a cat lover, so I wanted to share, you know, these aspects of our relationship to other beings and other souls in different bodies. So thank you so much for being here, guys. I love you. I hope the reading was supportive, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye. All right, hi group number 3, welcome to your reading. Let's find out what your cat or pet has to say to you today. So you have chosen the Queen of Wands. Oh, look at how happy this cat is lying on their soft pillow with their toy and the fire in the background. It just feels like a deep sense of peace and contentment. Now, I do have to mention that when I was pre-shuffling your deck, a couple of different cards came out, the Fool, the Tower, and there was one other one as well. I can't remember what it was, but the energy I was getting them from was like this intense curiosity and almost like foolhardiness, where the cat can kind of like get into things a little bit, or maybe, you know, like they're curious about something and then they end up breaking it, or they end up kind of like getting into a position that's a little bit dangerous for them. But it's interesting that this card is like nothing like that. This card is very sort of relaxed, luxurious, peaceful, controlled, confident. So let's take a look at the rest of your cards and find out what this is talking about here. So for group number 3, I do feel these 2 cards. 5, 6, 7, 8 of Cups. 8 of Cups, and look at them kind of curious about the water here. Like, what is that? And putting their paw underneath. So All right, that curious energy is starting to come in. Let's see the second card. Yeah, there it is. The 10 of Swords, and he's like climbed up on the screen door. So that's kind of what I mean, is like this pet or animal of yours just feels like a bit inquisitive and curious, to the point where they kind of like go and do things that maybe they shouldn't be doing. They're a little bit mischievous, let's put it that way, but like not in a bad way. They're just very curious, and they can't really control that. Like they're a little bit impulsive. But they're very happy. Like they're very happy, and they just love that. They're very playful. It's kind of the energy that I'm getting. Like they're giving me sort of like kitten vibes, where they just want to be playing all the time. You have the 8 of Wands. It did come up reversed. 8 of Wands reversed. Yeah, they move a bit fast, you know, like they're just kind of all over the place. They're rambunctious. That's like a good word for it. They're a little bit rambunctious. And you have the Page of Cups drinking out of the toilet. Yeah, see, like they just get into everything, you know, like there's the type of cat that's gonna like push stuff off the counters and climb up on the walls if they can, or they're just like one of those cats, you know, like, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a lot of cats are like that, actually. Kitty's not, thank goodness. She doesn't really do anything mischievous. She's kind of like laid back, and she's more anxious. She's more like group 2. Like group 2 was like one of those like kind of anxious cats. But I can see your cat or your animal here is just so riled up. They just want to run around and play and get into everything. It's so sweet. And then when they're done, they're like tuckered out. They're kind of like a child, you know, where they're like drawing on the walls and like getting into what's underneath the sink and making potions, and just, you know, like they're a bit, yeah, they're a bit like a child in that sense. And then when they're all tuckered out, they're just like super peaceful, sleeping, resting. It's funny. Yeah, so I mean, they're a lot to handle probably, but they're very, very happy and content. Let's see, you have the Emperor. Look at his little cone of shame. Oh, poor guy. I feel like your cat or your animal, again, like they might get themselves into trouble because they're a little bit foolhardy, or, you know, it's like curiosity killed the cat, and hopefully that doesn't ever happen. But I just mean like they can sometimes get themselves hurt or something like that, you know. And it's reminding me, I had a dog, Sunny, when I was a kid, and she was so curious about other animals, and she would always chase like the porcupines and stuff, and then she'd come home with a whole bunch of quills in her face, and poor thing, she was in so much pain all the time because she'd be running out and still trying to make friends with the porcupines. It's like, girl, just leave them alone. They keep getting you in the face like every time. But she just kept doing it because she was so curious, you know. And I think it's that same thing here with this animal, whether it's a cat or a dog or something else. It's like they're just very curious about everything, and it can kind of lead to a little bit of mayhem sometimes. Let's see, you have the 5 of Cups. The 5 of Cups. Okay, so yeah, they may just feel, I'm getting like an insatiable energy from this. So again, it feels like they're always wanting more. They're very yeah, I feel like this pet is very impulsive, very energetic. And yeah, mischievous. I just keep getting that energy of being mischievous. But yeah, it's like even when they've had their fill, they want more. They just keep going back for more. You tell them to stop and they keep doing it, you know, like that's the kind of thing. And that's the example that was given to us from Sunny, because that's what I was shown in my mind, was when Sunny just kept going back and getting pricked by those porcupines. It's like they just never really learn. They're a little bit like, you know, they just keep repeating the same mistakes a little bit, but, you know, I think that's because they're a young soul. Oh, not a young soul, maybe just a young physical being. Like if this is a dog, this is a young dog. Like this is a puppy, like maybe a year-old type of thing. Or if this is a cat, this is like a 2 or 3-year-old cat tops, you know. Or they just really have that energy about them. I mean, like that's what I'm picking up on, is that they're like physically young. Oh, you have the Death card as well. That did come up in group number 2. So there could be, yeah, again, I'm just getting energy of like rambunctiousness, and they need to be cautious. Your cat wants you to What do they want? Honestly, I feel like they need like some attention and training in like the best possible way, just to help them to learn what's safe and not safe, because I feel like sometimes they can get themselves into trouble with their mischievousness. Like they might, you know, climb something that is too high or it's dangerous, or you know, it's like a child. They need boundaries, they need structure, they need to learn things through us modeling behaviors and setting boundaries and things like that, setting limits. That's kind of what I'm seeing here is your cat. They very much need like limits, they need structure, they need a schedule. That really helps them to, you know, settle down a little bit, because I think at this point they just, if your schedule is kind of all over the place, or if you haven't had much time to really begin training them or teaching them, I should say, it's not really training, it's teaching and helping them to have a bit of a routine or a schedule or an awareness of what they can and can't do. Not in an authoritarian type of way, but just in like, a very supportive, very parent type of way. You know, like you would set rules for your children, or you would set boundaries with your children, or you would teach them, oh, that's not safe, we don't do that kind of thing, you know, but in a very loving, compassionate way. That's kind of what I'm seeing that they need here, because if they are kind of left to their own devices, they could hurt themselves. And that's why they've brought you to this reading, to kind of let you know, like, hey, they do need a little bit of support here, because that's what's going to keep them safe and going to help them to mature. You have the star with the cat knocking over the glass of water. You can't make this stuff up. You see, like, they really are just that type of cat or animal in general. They're just very, They're like, oh, what is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? You know, they're like Jack in the Nightmare Before Christmas when he gets to Christmas Land. He's like, what's this? What's this? There's water in the sink. What's this? There's mesh up on this wall. What's this? Like, there's just stuff everywhere, and they're so curious about it. Look at the Three of Swords. You need to be careful, otherwise they can hurt themselves. And that's why they want you to teach them what is not safe and what is. Maybe curb their impulsiveness a little bit so that they can mature, and maybe like not eating things that are bad, you know, like I just feel like they're the type of cat or animal that's just going to get into everything. And it's like, yeah, it could be a dog, because they are giving me a lot of dog references. So if this is a dog, this is like the type of puppy who will like chew up the couch cushions and then eat the sofa, the like foam inside. And that's really toxic for them. That could give them, you know, really bad upsets in their stomach or something like that. And it's that type of thing that they need training. They need the support. They need like the modeling to be able to not do those things, you know. A lot of it is just because they don't know any better, and they have so much energy. They just don't know what to do with it, you know? So they do need like an outlet for that energy, or they need mental stimulation to really help them to curb that need, because they're very like insatiable at this point in their stage in their life. Or they need like some kind of, they need some kind of structure is what they're showing me here, because they keep pointing me to the calendar in the background. And that to me speaks of structure. They need routine. They need something that's reliable to help give them a sense of grounding, is what I'm seeing here, to help them to feel, you know, a little bit more calmed down, because I feel like they have very chaotic energy. Yeah, very chaotic. Okay, I do feel this one. Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune is like cycles of time. And you know what they're really drawing my attention to here is like the fact that it's in this ring. So again, like this is the type of animal that just has so much energy, they don't know what to do with it. So they are very, very high energy by nature, and they just need a lot of outlet. So if this is a dog, that means you need to take them to the park like twice a day. No joke. They really, maybe more, like, I don't know. They have so much energy that needs to get, you know, run out, so that they don't end up doing things that are going to hurt them, or, you know, trash your house or stuff like that. If this is a cat, maybe getting them one of those running things, or like more toys or something like that would be helpful, because otherwise they're just like, if it's like a child, if they don't have toys, they're going to find whatever they can in the house to play with. That's why they were giving us the example of like looking under the sink and making potions. It's like, if you don't have toys to play with, you're going to make everything into a toy. So that's what I'm getting here from your pet, is that they very much need some stimulation. And then we have the sun here. So I do see that they like to luxuriate, especially around warmth, because they're showing, you know, the fire there in the Queen of Wands and then the sun. So I feel like they like to just chill out in warm environments, or, you know, by the fire or in the sunlight. You know, it's like classic cat lying in the beam of sun coming in through the window type of vibe. So when they're calm, they're very calm, and they love that. But I think they just really need a little bit of some support here in terms of, you know, energy expenditure, like energy output, and also training. Okay, so let's get clarifiers from the other cat tarot deck that I have. There's the Fool. Yeah, so I knew the Fool was going to come out. That's kind of the thing that I'm seeing here, is like they don't look before they leap because they're impulsive. That's why they really need to learn kind of how to curb their own energy. And as their parent, because like when we have animals in our family, we become their parent. We're responsible for them. We don't own them. We're responsible for them. They're living beings. They're souls. And so we have to be responsible to teach them what not to do and why. And so some of that could be about modeling the behavior. Some of that could be about creating structure or routine. Some of that could be providing other forms of stimulation or energy output. And some of it is also about communication. So like telling them verbally why. And I was talking about this a little bit in group 2. Animals are telepathic. That's their primary mode of communication. And they don't communicate telepathically through words. They communicate telepathically through imagery. So when you say something verbally, you're also forming a thought in your mind in a visual context. And so like I can say pink elephant, and the words, you know, the letters P-I-N-K spell pink, but when I say pink, you see pink in your mind. And that is what they see when we communicate. And we can think it in our mind, or we can say it out loud, because either way, we're going to be thinking that thought. That's what they pick up on. And so being able to communicate with them like, no, that's not safe, or, oh, you know what they're actually recommending is don't tell them not to do it. Show them something else. So it's like a child, you know, if you tell them not to do something, they want to do it even more. A very childlike energy from this pet. So you actually want to just give them distraction with something else, because they very much have like an insatiable type of curiosity and energy. So you just want to redirect it to something that's safer. So like, say for example, they're climbing up on the screen. You would want to take them off of it, very calmly put them down, and then provide them with something else to play with. And they'll get distracted and they'll start doing that instead, you know. And it's just every time that they go up there, you take them down, you put them over here with something else, you know. It's like you're redirecting them, kind of is how you can train them. There's probably other ways as well. I'm not a cat expert. I just love cats, and I've had them for years, but by no means am I an expert. But I just see them being very sort of, look at both of these cards. Both of these cards are this cat that's like up in the tree, reaching for something, but they're not really looking where they are. And that's what I mean. Like they might climb a tree and get stuck, or they might climb a tree and not realize how far from the ground they are, and like try to go after something and hurt themselves. So I hope that doesn't happen. And if it did happen, then we can see why. But they're saying, you know, that's why they need this training, because their temptation is just like too strong. They don't know how to control it yet. So they need a little bit of help with that, if you can provide it. Maybe do some research into cat training, or they're playing the song in my head from Bob's Burgers. Cat training a cat. Cat training a cat. Cat training a cat. A lot of work in, get a little bit back. If I could insert that song, I would. But yeah, it's like really hard to train cats, because first of all, they have to trust you. Second of all, they have to respect you. And third of all, you have to know how to communicate with them and what type of training they need, because each cat is very unique, right? So what's going to work for one cat's not going to work for the other. So you really have to kind of find a way that's very individual to your cat and your relationship to them. So, but they do keep bringing, that's his name, Jackson Galaxy. Yes, I did mention him in group number 1. He came up randomly, not in this context, but Jackson Galaxy, he's like a cat trainer, and he had a TV show. He's like the cat whisperer or whatever, you know, like where Caesar Milan is the dog whisperer, Jackson Galaxy is the cat whisperer. So if you have a dog, maybe study some of Caesar Milan's information. If you have a cat, look at Jackson Galaxy's stuff, because it's public, it's out there, it's on TV, you can probably find it on YouTube, and it'll help you to understand maybe what your cat's needing based on their temperament, their age, and their needs, you know? So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Okay, let's clarify the star card. So the star card for group, yeah, there's this one. We had the Strength card in reverse. Okay. Yeah, I feel like they're very young energy because it's like a kitten here. So very inquisitive, but again, it's like they kind of get themselves into situations like maybe they're like, oh, a dog, and they go see the dog, or the dog sees, you know, something, and it's just like, it's not necessarily good for them. So they need to be taught a little bit of discipline, like self-discipline. They need to be taught self-discipline, basically, this animal, and that will give them the strength to be able to really focus their attention and their energy a little bit better, so that they're not so scattered and impulsive and a little bit chaotic. Let's see, let's clarify the Three of Swords. Ooh, the three, another three, like 3 on 3, but you have the Empress here. So yeah, they need some mothering, they need some nurturing, because the mother cat's really standing out to me here with the 2 babies. I do wonder if they were maybe weaned too early. I don't know if that would cause, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just seeing like they didn't really have the mothering. Maybe they didn't, yeah, maybe they were weaned a little too early, or they didn't have, maybe it was like a really big litter or something like that, and they didn't really have nurturing from their mother in the very, very early stages of their life, or something like that. Again, I feel like this is a very young animal, but they just need mothering is what I'm seeing. Like they need a little bit of nurturing, they need some boundaries, they need to be parented, basically. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to get a final clarifier for the Queen of Wands and the Emperor here in the middle of the reading. And we have the 7 of Cups, again with the curiosity, like this cat looking at the fish tank. I feel like they would be the type of cat that you would see on one of those like videos on the internet where they like try to catch the fish and then they fall into the tank and then they freak out and knock the tank over and the tank smashes and it's all, you know, like wet on the floor and there's glass everywhere and the fish are dying and it's just like, oh God. Yeah, like that's the type of cat that I feel like this is, or the type of animal. So yeah, I would definitely say give them lots of mental stimulation, help them to run off their energy, and get them some training if you can, so that you can kind of model what behavior is appropriate and what is not, because that's going to help them to come into their maturity. Because I do see that there with the Emperor and the Queen of Wands underneath there. It's like they kind of just need to learn to control themselves a little bit better, and that will come with maturity. That will come with practice, with age, and with good modeling and parenting on your part. All right, group number 3. So that is what I see for you. Those are the messages from your cat. I really hope that this reading supported you and resonated and gave you something to explore deeper here in regard to training, discipline, love, nurturing, compassion, and parenting, basically, like being the parent, the loving parent for your friend who is furry. All right. So thank you so much, guys, for being here. I love you, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye.